Hi, I'm Chad Reed. I am the webmaster for California Child Support Services. I run the analytics and lead the social media team.
Hi, I'm Sydney Burt, and I'm an information officer with California Child Support Services and the program manager for the Digital Media Marketing Grant.
Hi, I'm Nicole Dirac, and I'm the Assistant Director of the Office of Communications and Public Affairs for California Child Support Services. Okay, so right after we received the grant, the first thing we did was begin tracking analytics on the website. We had always had Google Analytics and had never run any reports. So by January 1 of 2019, we were tracking traffic onto the site, away from the site, how long it was spent on the site, top pages, top documents downloaded, etc. Then in January to May of 2019, we rebuilt the California Child Support Services website on a mobile responsive platform, and we changed the URL from the non-intuitive childsup.ca.gov to childsupport.ca.gov. At the same time, our technical staff relaunched our customer self-service site on a mobile responsive platform. So on May 19th, 2019, the new website went live, and on May 20th, Customer Connect was also available on mobile. The baseline metrics, we started tracking 5 years worth of call volumes and case opening statistics month to month for all the counties, not only the grant counties, but also across the state. And then in February, right after we first started tracking analytics, we placed filters because we realized that DCSS traffic, that of the Sacramento headquarters as well as all the county offices, that kind of employee traffic was altering our analytics. So we filtered out the state, county, and regional IP addresses, which was actually kind of fun. We realized we weren't as good as we thought we were. We had a big bump every March in website traffic. That remained, but the big bump every August wasn't customers. It was just us looking at our own child support awareness materials. So good thing to know, to be aware that your own website activity can alter your analytics.
All right, now we'll dive in to start talking about the learning cycles. So Learning Cycle 1 kicked off in August of 2019, and we ran that learning cycle for 8 weeks. The goal was to figure out who the audience was, where the audience was, and what they would best respond to, all while raising awareness about child support services. We geo-targeted digital ads, we used keyword search, and we also ran ads on social media, both on Facebook and Instagram, and across desktop and mobile platforms. We decided to use 3 messages to assess what would resonate best with the audience and help really determine the path for the following learning cycles. So the 3 messages surrounded help with paperwork, help with medical support, and how to avoid court. Here's an example of some of the ads that we created for Learning Cycle 1. We, like I said, had 3 messages, and we also had 3 styles of advertisements. So on the left, you can see the orange swoosh, and that actually was a motion graphic. The text ad on the right side was also a motion graphic, so the text came up just like you would see on a mobile device. And all in all, we created 432 pieces of content, so all different sizes that would run across all different platforms in the 3 counties that we were targeting, which was Imperial County, Merced County, and Del Norte County. As part of the grant, the Learn, Innovate, and Improve model, we evaluated everything that we found during Learning Cycle 1. So we were surprised to see some unexpected engagement from male-focused websites, including Yahoo Sports pages. So we decided to take a look at that and why that might be and include that in our following learning cycles. We also wanted to evaluate contextual versus behavioral marketing. So behavioral marketing monitors the behavior of the user, so ads are served based on previous searches, whereas contextual marketing focuses on the content of what the user is looking for, so ads are served on relevant web pages. For example, if the user was to search divorce or divorce attorney or childcare, our ads may be served to those people. We also saw a lot of engagement as an outbound link to LinkedIn. So we wanted to see what that was all about and what our audience thought they were going to find by searching our LinkedIn page. And that's kicked off Learning Cycle 2. So Learning Cycle 2 began in January of 2020. It was also an 8-week learning cycle. And the goal for this learning cycle was really to inspire action among our audience and test the contextual and behavioral marketing. We also wanted to test the use of influencer marketing to spread child support awareness among their peers in the audience. We, again, used geo-targeted digital ads, and we expanded our retargeting and also our keyword search. So just outside of child support, we included a lot of other search terms that would serve our ads to those people. We also included LinkedIn on a bigger scale because we saw so much engagement as an outbound link from our landing pages in Learning Cycle 1. And we added YouTube pre-roll ads for testing. The influencer campaign ran in Del Norte County and aimed to reach the Native American population because Del Norte County has the highest population of Native Americans in California. For Learning Cycle 2, we updated our messages to include sports visuals because we saw that engagement on the male-focused sites during Learning Cycle 1. We also included LinkedIn because we saw so much engagement and we added video ads for testing. We did also redesign our web page to eliminate the possibility that people were accidentally clicking on our LinkedIn icon, so we moved that just to see if that made a difference. And it is important to note that Learning Cycle 2 completed just before the COVID-19 shutdown, so we didn't compete with that news cycle, which was fortunate on our end. And here is an example of our ads for Learning Cycle 2. On the left, you can see the sports-themed ads, and those were both motion graphics. The baseball came towards you on the screen, and also in the soccer image, the red card moved up and down. So just again, testing different styles of ads, motion versus still images, and just see what was resonating and what people would engage with. So we evaluated everything that took place during Learning Cycle 2, and we found that there is an enormous appetite for information within the Spanish-speaking community. We also saw that our video ads had a very high view rate across all platforms, but we weren't seeing a lot of engagement. People weren't clicking, so we just didn't feel like we were finding the sweet spot with our messaging. And since our ads were seeing above average engagement, but we just weren't inspiring changing behavior, we weren't seeing new cases opened, even though we were seeing a lot of people were actually watching our ads. So with all of that in mind, we kind of did a 360 and wanted to try something totally different for Learning Cycle 3. Learning Cycle 3 took place in February of 2021 and was only a 3-week period, so it was a very concentrated ad run. And we wanted to determine if digital advertising can be used to solicit participants for low-cost market research and to really help discover what messages stimulate action among our audience. We again used geo-targeted digital ads. We did limited retargeting just because it was such a concentrated time period. We did keyword search, and we also ran our ads on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn all across desktop and mobile. So to try and solicit low-cost market research, we developed webinars that were led by real child support specialists to collect data from registrants during surveys and identify important topics that were of interest to the audience during live Q&A to really help us inform our outreach for future campaigns. And with that, we have one of our ads that ran on social media, and this was one of the real child support specialists that led the webinar, and by all child support standards, this ad went viral and saw over 25,000 views during the short 3-week time period. So here, give it a watch.
What's going on, fellas? Are you looking at paying child support soon? If so, you need to come hang out with me at a free webinar where I'm going to explain the confusing and galactically frustrating world of child support. You got to click the link below or go to separatewithsupport.com. Get signed up. We're talking about your money. You can't afford to miss this. So go sign up, and hope to see you then.
And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chad, who will talk about analytics.
All right. So for Learning Cycle 1, we found out about bots. We had some very high bot traffic. This was seen through thousands of clicks, traffic from outside the United States, from countries that had prevalence in fraudulent traffic, also known as bot traffic. And it caused about a 30% inflation in our numbers, and that was definitely interesting. Moving on, we had some Facebook account lockouts with a few of our county Facebook pages. This took a lot of communication and coordination between Facebook support, the vendor, and our county partners to get everything back online. It also reinforced the reason why fake Facebook accounts can be a problem for organizations to use. Moving on along, we found out that LinkedIn traffic, also known as outbound links, one of our top 3 outbound links was LinkedIn. So we're wondering why are these users coming to the page and then going to LinkedIn in such high numbers? What could it be for? For Learning Cycle 1 key takeaways, first point is search. Search is successful. People are looking for the information, they're interested, they're actively searching Google, Yahoo for these different key phrases. We found out that no SEO funds were necessary. We own the market. We did not need to spend any money on that specific type of marketing. That takes us to mobile first, and mobile ads outperforming the desktop. That's also not surprising and in line with current industry standards. And finally, our last point is the sports sites are where the ads perform best. These were primarily male-oriented websites, and that was very interesting to us. Moving right along to Learning Cycle 2, we worked with our vendor to eliminate the bot traffic. This was great. It reduced dramatically the number of fraudulent traffic. It also did result in lower engagement for most of the ads and the landing pages. Secondly, we reconfigured the page and we got rid of the LinkedIn fat finger mystery. We removed the icon from the bottom of the landing page, and LinkedIn then dropped out of the top 3 outbound links for the pages. And that proved that our mystery was correct. It was just a layout configuration problem. However, we did find out that LinkedIn was good. The reach and the amount of people who were seeing the ads was substantially higher, almost 750% higher than previous organic content that we had on LinkedIn. So there is an audience. And then finally, we did find out that pre-roll. Using pre-roll was not an effective return on investment in terms of time, energy, and cost. And so we took that from the learning cycle as well. All right, and our key takeaways. So, influencer campaign, as we mentioned, in Del Norte County, it was highly successful. It was a total hit. We would really recommend it for anyone who's thinking about it, possibly. It allowed for an increased amount of community engagement and collaboration, and we're really happy on the outcomes of that. Search continued to outperform. As we mentioned before, we still see it to this day. And mobile first. As evident, as we mentioned, with our own customer self-service website, which receives 85% of its traffic via mobile. So mobile is where the customers are at, and that was evident in all of our analytics. Finally, as we mentioned, LinkedIn ads, they were really high reach, but low engagement. And so it was also came at a pretty penny. So definitely take that into consideration when you're looking at your ad buys. Learning Cycle 3 Insights. Due to COVID-19 and telework, we are no longer able to filter out the internal IP addresses that we were previously excluding. This led to an increase in desktop traffic and a decrease from 81% to 77% for mobile traffic. This doesn't necessarily mean that our customers were on desktops, as we know most of our staff throughout the state were accessing via desktop. Secondly, we had an accidental promotion by a large non-grant county, and unfortunately this skewed the data in that the webinar invite was sent to over 80,000 current participants. And unfortunately, the webinar was not designed for current participants and was not something that we wanted to do for these specific webinars. Thirdly, because of the accidental promotion from a large non-grant county, this resulted in webinar attendance from that non-grant county and impacted the webinar question and answer session. It led to a lot of current participants asking questions, somewhat unhappy questions, and did not work well with the overall goal of the webinar. And as we also mentioned, the ads are doing great. They had very high reach. However, when it came to conversion and signing up for the webinars, they were not as effective. We were not getting them to actually sign up. Once they seen that they came to a governmental site, they were less likely to add their different information to the forums, and that way we were not able to have as many people sign up for the webinars. So moving forward, you definitely want to have maybe a third party. All right, Learning Cycle 3, key takeaways. There is an enormous appetite for the information for signing up for these webinars, particularly among the Spanish-speaking audience. Secondly, we learned that we have two distinct target audiences. One is our current case participants, and the other was prospective case participants. And each types of audiences require different information. They have different wants and needs, so we kind of have to tailor our messaging to those different audiences. Third, we had found out, as we mentioned in the insights of Learning Cycle 3, once the users would get to the landing pages and see that it had some type of affiliation with a government, with us being a .ca.gov site, they were less likely to add any type of personal information. This prevented us from obtaining useful market research. So one thing we would recommend is using third-party vendors, or working with another third party to obtain that type of market research. And overall, engagement was high. However, conversion and the goal of signing up people to the webinar and visiting and having attendees to the webinar was not met.
Okay, so overall, what did we learn and what do we do next? Well, here's what we learned. You must be mobile friendly. I hear all the time people saying, ooh, that's going to be too expensive. What's the lower hanging fruit? Can't we start somewhere else? And the answer is no. In 2021, if you are not visible on a mobile device, you basically don't exist. And we see it in our analytics. We saw it in the digital media marketing grant. If you only have this much money, please spend it to convert what information you have online into a mobile format. We didn't learn this, but some of our colleagues did. A simple online application. Right now, that is the easiest way to generate new customers. We were trying different messages. We were trying different things. We did not see a jump in new cases, whereas the states of Virginia and Minnesota, both of whom created simpler, easier online applications, saw increases in new cases. So don't spend money on advertising, change your application. There's a lot that needs fixing before we can be new and improved. So if you spend money, earn engagement, bring people in, and they still have a poor experience, or there is still another barrier, you're not new and improved, and you've lost the credibility with that customer the next time. Credibility is also huge. With the videos where we owned our own faults, where the child support specialist said, it's a galactically frustrating process. That sort of honesty about the faults in our own system will earn us a lot of trust and a lot of credibility. So being more inclusive of the difficulties of our program while we're talking to our customers moving forward is going to be a good strategy. Earned us tons of engagement. So bottom line, advertising works, but are we ready to advertise? Probably not yet. We're not even sure what to say to get our audiences to change their previous behavior and engage with us in new ways. So we need market research. We all need research. And we don't know how to get it. How do we fund it? Actually, in California, we were going to have some budget set aside for market research, and then COVID happened. So should all the states try to pool resources and do national market research? Should we do outreach to the industry associations like WCSEC and NCEA and NCCSD and get coordinated expenditures there? We're looking into all those things because we don't know why the people who don't use us don't use us. We're guessing, but California's experience tells you that we're not guessing correctly. They clicked to get the information, but they did not convert. They did not go in and open that case. So obviously that was not the hook. That was not going to be the successful selling point. What are those selling points? We still don't know. We need to pick a primary target. We reach out to custodial parents. We reach out to paying parents. Both of those sets of people want us to give them completely different things. The parent receiving support wants us to be able to collect it without being too harsh on the paying parent. The paying parent wants flexibility, wants understanding, wants to be heard. That's not a campaign you can run simultaneously to those two sets of people. What are the benefits to modern parents who aren't using our services? They don't have to talk to each other anymore. They can just Venmo immediately at no cost. And it even keeps the record. So what do we offer as a program to modern co-parents who have lots of technological abilities that will compel them to use our services and consider them a benefit? To find out that, we also need more interagency collaboration. We found out that a lot of our sister agencies and partners in helping parents don't know what we do and aren't familiar with the services we provide. And we need to get our word out to our colleagues as well as to our potential customers. Thank you very much.